You're listening to NGSC Sports Radio. Hear us live on ngscsports.com, where you can get awesome analysis for all things sport. Or check out our podcasts on iHeartRadio, Spreaker, iTunes, TuneIn, and much more. For our latest videos, head to NGSC Sports YouTube channel. Follow us on Twitter at NGSC Sports and like us on Facebook. NGSC Sports. We never stop. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome once again to the Student of the Game. I am Kyle Nash, the Student of the Game, and here with me in studio, the personality of the show himself, Weasel. Yeah, boy! Steven Weasel Hurley doing his thing, and of course, the local hero himself. Look, he's already badass enough as a firefighter extraordinaire. He's all up in here for November, sporting the stash. That's what's up, Chris Rankin.
Yes. How's it going?
Hey, so, is it true that you could, save food in there and stuff? I've heard this myth about mustaches.
Yeah, save it for later.
So, what you should totally do, if you haven't already, is, make some bacon sushi, right? And then have turkey in it as well after Thanksgiving. And then you could save it for later in your mustache.
It'll work.
You had a mustache, you make bacon sushi. If I don't take it there, I'm wrong.
Bacon sushi?
Yeah, bacon sushi.
Bacon sushi. Do you understand that we just got 100 more listeners just because we said the words bacon sushi?
Yeah, you gotta bring some of that over. I'm just saying.
It's not breakfast.
I'm serious too.
It's breakfast.
Hey,
breakfast bacon sushi.
You know what? Yeah. McDonald's serves breakfast all day. I'm just saying. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. Great, now it's a commercial. Where's my money?
Right, yeah, I know.
Because bacon sushi. I don't know. Anyways, so let's get right into it. First game that we had this past week was a game not many people cared about unless you were, in the AFC South and you wanted to see if there was any other teams competing for the playoff spot in truly weak fashion. You had the Titans and the Jags. And I got to give NFL Network credit, because when I started watching this game, they had Eddie George presenting it as, oh, look, these quarterbacks they're playing with could be really good one day. Ooh! And it was creative. Did the game live up to that, Chris?
A little bit towards the fourth quarter, but really...
Eventually.
The only one that really cared about this game was anyone that played in the AFC South and maybe fantasy owners of probably Bortles and Allen Robinson, because anyone else really on the team, maybe Delaney Walker.
No love for
Mariota. I wouldn't think he'd be a starting quarterback for anyone's fantasy team. Unless someone's really hurting for quarterback or they're in a 14-team league,
or they went to Oregon, or it's Chip Kelly, maybe.
Yeah. Well, maybe they thought, it's the Jags, so maybe we'll start the quarterback against them. But this isn't the Jags' defense as previous years.
The thing about Mariota was that I think in the first, five games or so in the season, he was putting up really good numbers.
First game he put up really good numbers. The second game he put up numbers.
Yeah.
And then he got hurt. So
this is also a guy that lost to Johnny Manziel, if I remember correctly. So there's that. Or was that Mettenberger? I don't even remember. Because the Titans. Moving on.
All right. The Jags wearing their baby pink yellow jerseys needed to come back late in the fourth quarter to beat the division rivals Titans 19-13. This is Pete Burrow's fourth come-from-behind victory on the season, which leads the NFL.
Wow. Wow. I got nothing.
And now the Jags are now 2 games away from my preseason projection with a record of 4-6. Which I did go back and look at it. So 4 wins. Weasel did call 4 wins. So if they don't win out, Weasel's got it.
Woot, I got this.
If they win 1 more game, Kyle, you got it.
Yeah.
2 more, I got it. Anything above it would be me because I'm the closest one to it. So
what the hell is this? Price is Right?
That's right. Yes,
no one's going over anyway. Apparently, at this point, we've confirmed that no one's gone over, so everyone is safe.
Everyone is safe right now.
That's right. Dude, I don't even know, man. So, in conclusion, you mentioned the uniforms. So, if we take the normal Jags jerseys, hi, we're the Jacksonville Jaguars, and we have DirecTV. Hi, we're the Jacksonville Jaguars in these nasty yellow uniforms. We have cable. I think it writes itself.
Yeah, but they actually played pretty decent in the jersey, so.
But they still have cable.
Right, but
we're the Jacksonville Jaguars, and we nearly beat.
And we barely beat the Titans.
No, I'm getting there. Who was it? They did.
The Colts.
Yeah, and we beat the Colts.
No, they should be the Colts.
Damn.
That was the one that the kicker missed the field goals at the end of the game and they lost in overtime.
Was it? Did they beat the Dolphins? Well, that's not impressive either.
Yeah, they did beat the Dolphins.
Did they? No, they didn't beat the Jets.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, whatever.
No, and they didn't beat the Bucks either, but they did beat the Bucks.
They
No,
did.
not the Bucks, the Dolphins. They did beat the Dolphins.
No, that's not
But they
impressive.
lost to the Bucks.
You don't have direct TV because you beat the Dolphins.
Yeah.
That's not how that works.
Right. So with their 4-6 record, after this game they're a half game back pending the outcome of the Colts, Falcons, Texans, Jets game, which more on that later. Blake Bortles had a decent day throwing the ball, 21 for 30 for 242 yards, touchdown. He had an interception and a lost fumble. Bortles has had one touchdown pass in every game this year.
Good for him.
Yeah, I mean that's what they commonly refer to as a streak, and I don't mean the kind that has Will Ferrell in Old School either.
Yeah, the one who caught this one was Julius Thomas, which was a game-winning touchdown catch.
Points for Weasel?
Yes, on the bench.
And TJ Yeldon had 54 yards on the ground, and Allen Robinson led all receivers with 113 yards. Marcus Mariota was 22 for 35 for 231 yards with a rushing touchdown. Running back Antonio Andrews had 78 yards on 15 carries, and tight end Delaney Walker had 109 yards on 8 catches.
Can we talk real quick about how Delaney Walker was once a 5th-round pick in San Francisco who had to play behind Bruce Miller and Vernon Davis, and now he's regularly the leading receiver on the Titans? I don't know if that's good on him or bad on the Titans, but...
That was good on him. He left over there because, I mean, he was pretty good option over there in San Fran.
Absolutely.
He left so he could be the number one. And, I mean, he's been the number one for a few years now there in Tennessee.
And now one could argue at this point he has a better quarterback than Blaine Gabbert throwing to him. I'm just saying.
But I do have to mention this other player, Philip Superdaw. Well, he wasn't so super because he lost a fumble.
It's more like super duh.
That led to the Jags touchdown.
Did you have super duh written down on your paper?
No, I didn't.
Well, you should have.
I wasn't thinking of that. So
Super dur.
These teams are pretty much even until you look at the red zone as the Titans were 0 for 0. I don't know how many times you will never score in the red zone when you're 0 for 0. The Jags were 1 for 5.
Wah, wah.
I mean, that's the Giants numbers right there. So what the Jags fans want to know is, can they make the playoffs in the pathetic AFC South division? After this game, they're only half a game back. So.
Why not? You know, I mean, I don't know what the rest of their schedule looks like, but I do know that Carolina is on it.
No, they already lost to Carolina, the Jags.
Oh,
Week
shit.
1, they lost to Carolina.
Well, what am I thinking? Someone has... Oh, no, it's the Falcons. Excuse me. They have the Falcons on their schedule. I got mixed up.
I think the Jags have the easiest NFL schedule left as well. I think they said the strength of schedule.
Interesting.
Because
I looked
they
at
still have to play the Colts, the Texans, and I think
Oh,
the
yeah,
Titans
they still have the rest of their division. They could. That's
So
interesting.
They have the easiest division remaining.
One game back. That's it.
Well, half after this one.
Eh.
All right, you blew it now.
No,
You just said the show now. That's it.
Anyways.
Call it cliffhanger. Come on.
Wah, wah. Not to be confused with a bad Sylvester Stallone movie. Anyways, so if I said to you, Skins and Panthers, who would you think would win this game?
I would say many would say the Panthers.
The home team.
And shockingly, you're absolutely right. The Panthers made a complete waste of space out of Kirk Cousins and the Redskins. Cam Newton throwing for 5 touchdowns, 44-16. I mean, look, let's put it this way. If you had a receiver on the Panthers, you had a good shot at getting a touchdown. Oh, wait, well, maybe not because 2 of them are running backs that caught it. But I digress. The big performer here, of course, was Jonathan Stewart, who managed 102 yards on 21 carries, still caught a touchdown. Darren Funchess, the rookie, yeah, that guy. 4 catches, 64 yards with a TD. Also, Greg Olson with a touchdown. Ted Ginn Jr. with a touchdown. Mike Tolbert with a touchdown. Kirk Cousins, I mean, look, I guess when he's not playing, the Saints, he struggles a little bit more. Just saying. So with that, I looked at the rest of the Panthers' schedule. Now, I'm not one of these people who are like, well, gosh, they look like they could go 16-0. I'm not that guy. Even with the Patriots, as bad as their schedule is, I'm not that guy to think that's going to happen. And I'm not that guy with the Panthers either. But when you look at their schedule, I understand. Featuring such mammoth teams as the Falcons. I think that the toughest game they have left, arguably, is 2 games against the Falcons. Although the spread for next week's game may say differently. More on that later. But I'll put it this way, guys. If you don't have Cam Newton as your front-running MVP candidate, you better have Carson Palmer. And if you don't have either of them, you're doing it wrong.
And the thing about Cam Newton was he lost his number 1 wide receiver, Kelvin Benjamin, at the beginning of the season. So
correct.
He never had him. And
Funchess.
Yeah, he's also a tall wide receiver, but it was nothing like Kelvin Benjamin, because he put up some huge points with him. But this year he's spreading the love. So
your top receivers are Funchess, Ginn, and Kachary. Help me out.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Bingo. Moving on. So, yeah, the San Francisco 49ers visited the Seahawks. Once again, it wasn't even a battle. Blaine Gabbert did have a touchdown on the day. Russell Wilson had probably his single best passing day of the season, 24 for 49, 280 yards with 3 touchdowns. Pop quiz. Name me the running back for the San Francisco 49ers.
It's not Hyde.
And don't look it up. It is not Hyde. Very good, Weasel. Christian,
I have no idea.
Sean Drawn.
Yeah, I was going to get that one.
I wasn't either.
He used to be with the Chiefs.
Okay.
He was with the Chiefs last year.
Well, he had a bad day running. One could argue with 12 carries for 37 yards, but led in receiving with 8 catches for 40, or receptions, I should say. Anquan Bolden had 93 yards receiving himself, and Vance McDonald managed a touchdown, the only one on the day for the 49ers. But the big news of performance, dudes, it's time to believe in Thomas Rawls. Oh my gosh. So, on top of the fact that he had 209 yards rushing and a touchdown, he also had a touchdown with a pass connection. Sure, Doug Baldwin was the leading receiver and Ty Lockett caught a touchdown as well, but Thomas Rawls. If people were wondering what the Seahawks were going to do, like me, without Marshawn Lynch, your answer is simple, and it ain't Russell Wilson, it's Thomas Rawls. Rawls. Roadhouse. Rawls. See, I'm getting that same kind of vibe there. I don't know. Maybe Ronda Rousey will play him in a movie or something. Did y'all hear about that? That they're going to remake Roadhouse, and instead of, obviously Patrick Swayze is, no longer with us, obviously, but the title role that was played by Patrick Swayze is going to be played by Ronda Rousey.
Did she lose recently?
She did.
Oh, yeah. That was bad. Very bad.
Ladies and gentlemen, he is not the personality of the show just because he's stars and rainbows. Weasel Wheeze. Anyway, speaking of things that wasn't all sunshine and rainbows, you might have been in Florida for the Miami Dolphins game against the Cowboys, but it was not rainbows for the Dolphins as they lost to the Cowboys. 18-28 was the return of Tony Romo percentage-wise, 227 yards with a touchdown and an interception. Tannehill went 13 for 24, 180 yards, 2 touchdowns, and an interception as well. Big performance here by Run DMC, Darren McFadden, Weasel's favorite fantasy player. Yeah, boy.
I don't know about that, but...
it's better than Michael Clayton and Lamar Miller, right?
Fair enough.
Yeah, you got to give it to him. Being in the committee that he started out with in this year enabled him to stay alive and, be less hurt, perhaps. I don't know. Anyways, so at the end of the day, the difference between these two teams wasn't as much the turnovers as the Finns' inability to move the ball. 7 for 14 on third down were the Cowboys. 1 for 10 were the Miami Dolphins. And people are now talking seriously about the Tony Romo effect. The team is 3-7, still the worst team in the conference, mind you, I think. But nonetheless, there's serious talk of them being a threat to the NFC, even at that point. Guys, I got to ask, would you go with Romo? See, the best I can do from the hip. Do you really see them winning the games necessary to take the NFC East? Does anybody else?
It's still a possibility. They're only really 3 games back. now with this win, they're only
The Giants are 5-5.
That's right.
So, but 2 games back. But
yeah, 2 games. They're only 2 games back. So
here's my thing: if the Panthers weren't on their schedule, I would say maybe. But with the Panthers on their schedule, I'm gonna wait till that game to decide. And I'll leave it at that. So, I don't know. Y'all both give me the "it's possible" answer. Look, at least say, I don't know with that schedule, something like that. Give me something. Dang it. Anyways, give me something. That sounds like what the Chargers offensive coordinator was saying as they got beaten by the Chiefs 33-3. A lot of threes in that game. A trinity of threes, if you will. Give me something. Phillip Rivers, 19 for 30, 170 yards, and interception. He did not give me anything. Nor did Melvin Gordon, the rookie running back, 15 for 37 on the day. Charcandrick West left the game early with a hamstring injury, so bring out Spencer Ware, 11 carries, 96 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Long and the short on this game, Chargers prove that they are indeed soft. But guys, go ahead, Weasel.
The running back, that is the Alex Smith effect right there.
Okay, elaborate.
Well, you said the backup to West.
Charcandrick West.
What do you have? You said he had like over 90 yards and 2 touchdowns?
He did.
I'm just saying.
The king of the check down. Okay.
The defense is doing pretty good too.
The defense, I mean, that's what I think it is just as much as that the defense has started to pull their weight a bit more. One could argue because the running game is showing more success. It baffles me, and maybe the teams they've been playing just don't have the personnel, like the Chargers, for example. Wouldn't be necessarily stout enough up front to stop a run-first game.
I read that the Chargers with Phillip Rivers, they had actually one of the top of the league, towards the top of the league passing-wise.
Oh,
so
great.
it wasn't
Is that
just
good at stopping the run.
What's
that's
that?
My point.
Stopping the run.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And
Yeah.
Phillip Rivers. Phillip Rivers in that offense started out really strong. I agree with you.
Yeah. So.
But, I would think if you're the Chargers, the first thing you do is dismantle the run and let Alex Smith, try to throw the ball more than 20 yards. But if you don't have the group stout enough up front to stop him, that ain't going to happen. Then compounded by what you're talking about, if you keep Rivers and company quiet, you dare them to run the ball all you, which Melvin Gordon has not proved he can do. Dontari Poe in the middle, which, by the way, fullback carry for a touchdown. God, it was awesome.
He's actually the biggest player now in NFL history to score a touchdown.
Oh,
He beat Refrigerator Perry.
Are you serious?
Oh, wow.
I didn't realize he was that dang big.
Yeah.
I'm glad you brought up the fridge. That was a good one.
Yeah,
because that's like the kind of the following question that would be asked. So, good stuff.
because the fridge, dude, that's amazing. I don't know how to follow that up, so I'm just going to go to the next game. Rams, Ravens. Now, I think this will effectively knock the Rams out of any real playoff contention as they fall to the Ravens 13-16. Big story of this game. Shortly after the last play of the game, or just before the last play of the game, I should say, Joe Flacco, the quarterback of the Ravens, suffered an injury at ACL. He will be out for the season. Todd, I am not a girly man, goes 25 for 66 with a touchdown. Javorius Allen, I don't know how you say it. It's spelled Javorius, whatever. He was the main running attack. I note this because the lack of Justin Forsett in the Ravens' backfield.
Just Forsett broke his arm.
Yeah, so there you go. Crockett Gilmore, the top receiver for the Ravens, but a touchdown for the Ravens was scored by UCF's own Kamar Aiken. Difference in this game, 4 turnovers versus 2 of them. One of them deciding the outcome of the game to set up an easy field goal for the Ravens. However, a couple plays before that, and this is one that I have to admit, Weasel texted me about this. I'm like, why are we that worried about it? And then I actually watched it closely. And that's when Case Keenum took a hit to the head. Obviously, motions towards his helmet. Very clear he got hit in the head. Very clear he was... Let's put it this way. I'm watching it as a guy on the sidelines. Not paid to do it. Do it because I like it. Whatever. Because football. Very obvious that this is a concussion, possibility at the very least. Had trouble getting up after obviously putting his hands on his head like he was in pain, as if he had an ache in his head. Now, here's my understanding, and correct me if I got this wrong, guys, and I will give the benefit of the doubt that this is a reasonably new thing that the NFL has enacted. That's where it ends. There's somebody literally paid to watch each and every play as a member of the medical staff to look for this very thing. How'd they blow this? Weasel, you got anything for me? I have no idea how they would have missed this.
Yeah, I'm watching right now, and let's see.
He was going up to the buffet bar up there.
It was towards the end of the game. That's true. He could screw it. I'm getting food, and this game sucks.
Beer.
They stopped serving beer by then already.
Yeah,
so
but he's getting rid of the used one part.
Oh, I see. The used beer. The infamous used beer defense. There you go.
Okay, I'm just watching it literally right now, and just to do a little sum up. So, okay, so he gets sacked. Two big guys pretty much lay him to the ground. You have an offensive lineman, number 71, that tries to get him up. Keenum falls back to the ground. He tries to help him up again, but he stays on the ground on his knees, and supposedly on the top here it says Keenum waved off team trainers, but the guy he must have been on that ground trying to get up for about, I'd say,
in that summary, despite all that,
seconds.
the thing that you've left out is his head collides with the ground,
right?
In a very forceful fashion, and his hands both hands go on top of his head. The other stuff is cute. Maybe the lineman was trying to help him out because he had a knee injury or a leg injury, had trouble getting up. That's all fine. It's the fact that during the entire play, pretty much, both hands are on Keenum's head, correct?
Right. And it was just that I think the person who was hired to look for this kind of stuff, this wasn't just it's one thing to have him hit his head on the turf, get up, pop up, and go into the huddle.
Yep.
Then it would be like, why didn't you say anything? But there were no symptoms or anything. But the guy just
he had both his hands on his head and then could not stand up on his head immediately.
So I mean, there's not really and I believe the two plays later, there's a slow motion play of him just sitting there, and you have a defensive end going in on the side. He's just sitting there, and he gets the ball knocked out. Lucky he didn't get hit, because that could have been terrible.
As health aside, that was the one I just mentioned that decided the game. And then the next play he tried to throw to Welker in a ball that was just wildly. He didn't look right, is the point.
Yeah,
he didn't move his head at all. Yeah. On that play where he got fumbled.
Exactly.
But also there's another big blow for the Ravens right now because Joe Flacco tore his ACL.
Yeah, I mentioned that earlier on. Yeah. So I mean, maybe that's a big deal. I don't know. I don't know whose backup is current because of excellent journalism on my part. Not really. But yeah, when it comes to the Ravens, look, man, no one could wish ever the list of stuff they've dealt with this year, and I give the Ravens the benefit of the doubt. I know there are times I am critical of what they do on offense anyway, but yeah, that's just I think they definitely got snake bit this year.
Because Flacco did finish the game.
He did. And the hit he took was a couple plays before it ended. Mm-hmm. So he did play every snap that he was asked to play, but it was late in the game where he limped off.
For the passing statistics, I don't know if this guy's the second one, but one Sam Koch. Anything?
If you don't know, you might want to look that up then.
Yeah, that's what's showing.
Matt Schaub's the backup now.
Schaub is the backup? Okay. That's actually...
I know the name. Let me see it. I'm like, yeah, Matt Schaub's starting this week.
Okay, there you go. So, all that aside, the chances for the Rams to make the playoffs already low, now made even lower and more unlikely, and the Ravens lose somebody else. Why not? I think we'll call that one the Snake Bite Bowl.
They lost two players this game. Justin Forsett with his broken arm.
Yeah, that's right.
And then Flacco, there goes their offense.
Why not?
I was a little off with the Sam Koch thing. He's the punter.
Yeah. That's why I had you look it up. So you could be the one to point that out to yourself.
But Schaub should be a good replacement for him.
Well, so long as he doesn't throw 5 more pick sixes, we should be good, right? Anyways, so next up, the Raiders and the Lions. Did I miss something?
Yeah.
Okay. The Raiders and the Lions. So, yeah, pretty much chalked up the Raiders was going to win this one, and then they didn't. The Carter Cooper combo was not effective in this game. Carr went 13 for 25 with 169 yards. Oh, right. And then Matt Stafford did what he did, 22 for 35 with 282. DeMarco Murray did have a running touchdown. But for my money, in this game, it was just about the fact that the Raiders, just couldn't move the ball. That defense for Detroit showed up like they did against Russell Wilson a number of weeks back where they were robbed of a victory. But I digress. So, yeah, the Lions, though, because they have that win, still a better team than the Cowboys in the conference standings. I got nothing else. That game, yeah. Keep in mind, don't get too disappointed in the Raiders on this. I only picked them to win 6 games, so they're still on track to pretty much do that. And I haven't gone over yet. So
I think the only difference with the Cowboys and the Lions is that Cowboys 2 games back, and the Lions, they're about 4 games back. So the Lions, I don't think they can do any catching up.
Way to be a negative Nancy there, Weasel.
Hey.
Good job.
All right. Just was saying.
And yet they're still ahead of the Cowboys right now, both with the same record because of conference.
And it's very clearly put, gentlemen. That's not a showing of how bad the Lions are. It's a showing of how bad the NFC East is, or rather the NFC least. That's right, I said it. Taking us there, the Bucks and the Eagles. Chris.
The Bucks ran away with a 45-17 victory over the Eagles to have their first winning streak in over 2 years. Doug Martin averaged 71 yards on 2 carries and finished with 235 yards on 27 carries.
Epic! You think that it could have been the deciding factor in the game?
A little bit. Jameis Winston was 19 for 29 for 246 yards, 5 touchdowns. All of them were different receivers. Mike Evans, 63 yards receiving with a touchdown. Other touchdown receptions were by Vincent Jackson, tight end Cameron Brate, Charles Sims, and Russell Shepard. For the Eagles, after they took the opening drive for a touchdown, the offense was stagnant, and Sanchez did what he does best. No, not a butt fumble. But interceptions, as he had 3 on the day. 1 was a pick 6. Sanchez was 26 for 41 for 261 yards with 2 touchdowns. DeMarco Murray had 64 yards on 13 carries. Brent Selleck led all receivers, which is a tight end, with 79 yards and 7 catches. And Josh Huff and Darren Sproles each had a touchdown catch all in the first half. So you're wondering, how did the Bucks ran away with the game? Well, I'm glad you asked.
I was about to say, other than the turnovers, but go ahead.
Time of possession, Bucks 36 minutes to the Eagles 24. Bucks had a 16-play, 10-minute drive to open the second half as well.
Oh, my God.
Wow.
Take that, Chip Kelly offense.
Turnovers, 4 for the Eagles, 1 for the Bucks. The first fumble, the first drive of the game had 2 fumbles in it, the drive. I don't know if you saw this. The Eagles fumbled the ball. DeMarco Murray fumbled the ball. The Bucks picked it up, returned it. As he was going down to the ground, the ball popped out. His knee was down, the defensive player. The ball popped out. Eagles recovered it. So it's a turnover. They ruled
to review it.
They had to rule it. They called it the Eagles' ball originally. They had to review the second fumble to see if it was a fumble. His knee was down. The announcers and everyone saying, yeah, his knee was down. You can see his knee was down clear as day. His knee was down when the ball popped out.
He was touched too then.
Yeah, he was touched. He was getting tackled. Ball popped out. Everyone's like, shoot, Bucks ball. Bucks offense went on the field, came out, rolling on the field stands. Eagles ball. They went right down and scored a touchdown.
Well,
it was inside their 20-yard line.
I'll say this. If you were expecting me to be impressed or rather surprised that the refs blow a call, you're on the wrong show. I'm going to leave it at that.
All right. So really big key was the red zone. Bucks were 5 for 6 to the Eagles 0-0, as I mentioned in the Titans game. You can't ever score in the red zone if you never get there. And finally, total yards, Bucks were 521 yards, the Eagles 383. So should Eagle fans start worrying about their season, and is Chip Kelly on his way out?
First of all, you should have worded it, should the Eagles be worrying more about their season, because you know how Philly fans are. Let's be clear.
They're
Now,
a bunch of crying babies. Yeah.
there's
Says the Giants fan.
a lot of talk about the Chip Kelly system. Now, what would you say, like a quick summary of what Chip Kelly would be looking for in a quarterback? What do you say?
Finding Oregon on a map. No?
That's question number 1. Question number 2, can you run below a 4.640?
Yeah, I guess they waived that question for Sam Bradford.
Well, right, that's why they did the trade. Well, Nick Foles couldn't do it, so...
Good call.
3, their main thing is they spread the defense out. They run a spread offense, and they usually like fast running backs. Neither DeMarco Murray or Ryan Matthews fit that mold because they're more of a power-type back, not really a finesse back like...
Darren Sproles is perfect, and actually he scored one of the touchdowns.
Yeah,
but
Darren Sproles fits the system, but the other two don't.
Yeah, I agree.
And you run the read option, you hit the slants, you hit the quick screens out to the receivers, which they try to do, but they don't have the players to block out there.
Yeah, I think they rely on Ertz and Selleck to do that, and sometimes they're effective, but I don't know that they have the O-linemen to get out there either.
Right, and so really Chip Kelly, he relies on his offense putting up a crap load of points and defense just be okay. Just don't give up as many points as our offense can score. And also, what Oregon really what it was before.
Yeah, and don't leave out. I mean, tempo is the other part of it too, right? He's relying on his team to be in better shape than yours. But then again, when the other team pulls off a 16-minute drive, little difficult.
10-minute drive, 16 play.
16 play, 10-minute drive, still a little difficult to try to tire out that defense.
Now there's going to be a quarterback available, I think, with Colin Kaepernick. His days are over. And with the 49ers, yeah.
What do you mean? Just because he's put on IR and replaced by Blaine Gabbert doesn't mean he's going to get... yeah, it does.
So yeah, I think he's out, and from what you're saying and stuff, I think he would be an ideal fit for the Eagles because... people are talking about already because I think they're going to still lose some games. Should Chip Kelly go type of thing. And I think he would have 1 year left. It's to get a quarterback that'll fit his system, possibly one Colin Kaepernick, and he'll have the draft to maybe get that quarterback. But I say that he's got 1 more year, and if he wants to show off this offense, I don't think that Bradford was the guy to do it.
Go ahead and take this one first, Chris.
Well, Kaepernick will fit the system because 1, he's from California, he knows where Oregon is. 2, he went to Nevada, so he still knows where Oregon is. And he played out there in the West Coast, which is where Chip Kelly is from. He always was trying to pick up players that were out there. I mean, that's why he picked up Zach Ertz, who was from Stanford. His original ones is like, he picked up a bunch of Stanford players because he always played against them.
And USC
players. That's why Sanchez he picked up because he went to USC. He played against them, so he knows the type of player. But Kaepernick would fit in the system. And really, the problem with Kaepernick this year and probably partially last year was they were kind of handcuffing him from making him a quarterback where he's not and being in the pocket. And Chip Kelly won't do that because he'll be running the read options and rolling him out, which is his strength.
That would embrace rather than limit. I agree.
Yeah, because I think you're trying to. A lot of coaches they try to change the player to their scheme, but for Colin Kaepernick, then you're saying the scheme that he would best play in would be Chip Kelly's system. So it's that's good. Because a lot of coaches they try to change him, and a lot of times they will fail in that, but I think that'll be a good fit.
Well, that's the thing. Why he excelled in Oregon because they don't have a salary cap, so he can go recruit the players, pay them how much ever he wanted to pay them to go to Oregon. See, they get paid over there in Oregon.
I see what you did there. So, not as much as they do in the SEC, mind you.
Correct, but have you seen the athletic facility at Oregon? It's like top notch. It's like a top best I've ever seen. Because Nike's out there as well, and they probably sponsored it. So.
Oh right. Well, with all these jersey changes or whatever, that's definitely they're definitely together on that.
So they can get the players into their system there. When you come to the NFL, you're kind of capped with the salary, and you can't get the players type that you want. You kind of go after the skill instead of really the system, which he needs to go back to his system and try to get the players that'll fit his system and not. He's trying to run his system with players that don't fit the system, and really you need to change your coaching to the players you got, opposed to trying to change the players to your system.
Maybe on the questionnaire. Do you know where Oregon is down to about 4th or 5th, rather than question number 1 possibly. Just throwing that out there.
I think one of the best examples I see of having a quarterback that has a specific skill set, and adjusting your offense to fit that skill set would be one.
John Fox.
Yeah, John Fox with one Tim Tebow.
Pop quiz. Name the offensive coordinator that pulled that off under John Fox.
Mike McCoy.
Thank you, Chris.
Nicely done.
You should know that too. That's why I had to make that.
But it's just that like he got some success out of Tebow with that, and so I think that's a good way to look at it.
Yeah. Well, I'll say this too. One last thing. Whoever commented that if Chip Kelly's still around next year, that he will pick up Colin Kaepernick. I like that thought process because whoever's coming in to replace Chip Kelly, should he be fired, is going to want to try to base their legacy on Colin Kaepernick. I just don't see that happening. Moreover, the other reason why I don't want that job coming in behind Chip Kelly is he spent all this time trying to install his offense with those players, and I'm like, no, you would have to rebuild from the top. That would be a tough situation. And oh, by the way, you have to do it in 2 or 3 years because that's what happens in the NFL.
Yeah, I mean it's different of getting players through the draft to fit your system like Belichick does with his system, because I call him the system all the time.
Yep.
You get these no-name players that are sticking out, that are performing over there in New England, and also what they've done with the Steelers for years. Who was defense coordinator? Or used to be for Steelers. He retired, left, and went to.
I'm just drawing a blank right now.
Well, it's not Monty Kiffin. I know that.
Anyway, he's
with the Titans now, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Dick LeBeau.
Dick LeBeau. Yes.
Come on, guys, you're both.
I kept thinking of the Packers defense coordinator.
I had a brain fart there.
In my mind, you both just missed an extra point, so I'm playing the music.
I don't blame you for playing it.
Team that
Exactly.
So
I'm talking about Dick LeBeau a lot about through the season.
He threw you under that bus.
I just kind of because I couldn't think of it off the top of my head. But I mean, if you look at what they did when he was there, the players he put through the system, and then they were excelling where they were. They're like, we want our money, and they're like, no, you can go get your money somewhere else. And we'll get someone else that comes in and fits that position to do it. They've still done that for late 90s, early 2000s. They did that, and that's what the kind of Packers do too with their offense. Like, oh, you want more money? See ya, we'll go get someone else that can do it.
Skill set was definitely they always chose, usually in the first round, a linebacker. Like, you need four. It's a 3-4 defense.
Depth. You've got to have that many linebackers if you're going to run a 3-4. Yeah. Absolutely.
And then they sign up for 4 years, and then they say that they want more money, and they're like, see, I'm going to get another linebacker this year, and because it's been 4 years, I have a 4-year rotation. If you're saying linebacker every 4 years, you get that rotation. See, we're going to get an outside linebacker this year.
And a tribute to their ability to get to Dick LeBeau's ability to find linebackers. How many linebackers 8+ years of life off their career, they're like in year 9 or year 10, go to another team. Your Carlos Dansby's, your James Ferriers, your Larry Foots. Hell, even for a bit, James Harrison did it with the Bengals and then came back. There's another one too that it seems that the Cardinals for a bit were the retread destination of Steelers linebackers in the form of both Ferrier and Foot. Washington.
Dansby.
Thank you. Why did I say Washington? Even though, Washington is a former linebacker there. But no, Dansby and Foot. Yeah. But, Lawrence Timmons and company are the ones holding that key right now. So, there you go. With that, we'll go ahead and take a short break. You're listening to NGSE Sports. This is the student of the game. You're listening to NGSE Sports Radio. Hear us live on ngsesports.com, where you can get awesome analysis for all things sport. Or check out our podcasts on iHeartRadio, Spreaker, iTunes, TuneIn, and much more. For our latest videos, head to NGSE Sports YouTube channel. Follow us on Twitter at NGSE Sports and like us on Facebook. NGSE Sports. We never stop. And, of course, we are back here again on the Student of the Game. Of course, I have the local hero, firefighter extraordinaire, and well-groomed mustache wearer, Chris Rankin. Second half, boom. And then, of course, the man himself, the personality of the show, Stephen Weasel Hurley. Where's?
Big, they have to do the first half of the show and second half of the show. Only cover half of it. That's what I said, second half. Like, oh,
second half. I was more thinking football.
Or are you talking about the mustache?
Second half, wow. Let me get back to you. I'll have to write a memo on that. By the way, Weasel, I have a memo for you. Put stock in Brock. Broncos, Bears. Weasel, go.
With Peyton Manning not traveling with the team, fourth-year quarterback for the Broncos, Brock Osweiler, got the start as the Broncos on the road defeated the Bears 17-15.
Hey, Weasel, does that mean it was time to Brock and roll?
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of those. Osweiler was 20-27, 250 yards, 2 touchdowns, no INTs, sacked 5 times. Broncos' first drive, Osweiler threw a 48-yard touchdown to one Demaryius Thomas.
He wants to Brock.
Hey, the ball wasn't that far down.
Yeah,
it really wasn't.
He got a 48 touchdown.
Dude, I'm like, Demaryius Thomas was that wide open on that play. I mean, how do you get that open early? I mean, he's the number one receiver on the Broncos. How do you get that open?
Sometimes you think a safety's got your back, and you're like, uh-oh.
He did not. Yeah.
So he finished with 3 catches for 59 yards. Tight end Owen Daniels, 4 catches for 69 yards. About halfway in the third quarter, Bears quarterback Jay Cutler was intercepted. Shocker! And that gave the ball to the Broncos at the Bears' 25-yard line. Later that drive, on a 4th and 1, at the 2-yard line, Broncos running back Hillman was stuffed. So Hillman finished with 21 carries, 102 yards, while C.J. Anderson contributed with 12 for 59. Bears quarterback Jay Cutler, 18 of 32, 265 yards. He did have that INT, and he lost a fumble, but that's 3 scrambles for 29 yards.
So, since Osweiler didn't have any turnovers, does that mean he was Brock steady? Yeah.
I really miss Peyton Manning right now.
I warned you before the show this was going to happen. This was going to be a thing. It's a good thing we don't cover basketball during the whole Jeremy Lin thing, because I was going with some Lin sanity there.
Oh, yes. Bears quarterback Jay Cutler, 18 of 32, 265 yards. INT lost fumble, scrambled 3 for 29. And you have rookie running back Jeremy Langford. Great game last week, this week. 13 carries for 25 yards. Did have a touchdown. Wide receiver Marquez Wilson, 4 catches for 102 yards. Early in the fourth quarter, you got wide receiver Cody Lamater from the Broncos, 10-yard touchdown reception that put the Broncos up 17-9. With only 2:30 remaining, Cutler lost a fumble at the Broncos' 33-yard line. Oops. The Bears defense forced a much-needed 3-and-out, which gave the Bears the ball back at their own 35. With only 29 seconds remaining, Bears running back Langford ran it in for a 2-yard touchdown to put the Bears down 2 points. On a similar run for the touchdown towards the right guard, Langford was stuffed, and that's it.
I like you talk about so much about running backs getting stuffed this close to Thanksgiving. Just saying. So, hey, instead of Detroit Rock City, is it Denver Brock City? Yeah.
Wow. So, one interesting stat. You have the Bears at home, 0 penalties. The Broncos had 8 for 118 yards, most of which were in the fourth quarter. Now, did y'all notice anything like that? Or has the game been favored more with the Bears for the refs, or is there something to it?
Well, I think that they were trying to make sure that they didn't hit Brock Bottom. No, I think Chris said it best, and we talked about this a little bit before we went on the air. I think Chris said it best that the Broncos, if they aren't the most penalized team, they're definitely up there. So to see this go the way it did doesn't necessarily shock me. I mean, hey, look, the Bears did something right and yet still lost. If that is not a signature of the Bears the past few years, I don't know what is. I know that's, a very cruel way to put it. I hope your wife doesn't throw things at me the next time we see her because I said that. But, maybe she'll throw a Brock at my head. Okay, that was terrible.
Now, for the rest of the season, you're going to have starter Brock Osweiler, and the question is how involved will Peyton Manning be on the sidelines? because he could be like a mentor to Brock. A lot to learn from him, and I think he would be like an ideal kind of like an offensive coordinator type thing. But I'm here and stuff like he's not helping him, and it's kind of the situation is kind of similar to that with Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers.
Right.
Because Rodgers was sitting there, I think, at least 3 years behind Favre. So and now you have Manning, who it's people would expect a lot more from Peyton Manning. But what do you think of that?
Well, I'll say this. I mean, first of all, let's start with why he's not on the sideline in this game. In my mind, if the way I look at it is, if Peyton Manning's on the sideline, he's a rock star that everybody knows. They want a Brock star that's starting this game, right? You already saw that coming. You knew where I was going.
Yeah.
But rock stars don't stay on the bench. That's where I go. You happy now?
Yeah.
You got your damn nationwide plug, right? Where's my money, Weasel? Get on it. No. But I think him not being on the sideline is a fantastic thing, because all it would be, and you both know I'm right on this, is every third friggin' snap, we cut over to Peyton Manning's face. Oh, what's his reaction to that? Oh, Brock Osweiler took a dump on the field. Oh, what was his reaction to that? I mean, it would be the camera constantly cutting over there. It was up there. Oh, gosh, I really wish I remembered the example now. Crap. But most of the game was checking out his reaction. Hell, have you seen a Cowboys game lately? They did about the same thing with Romo. Instead of might have been every sixth snap instead of every third snap.
They show him, but it's like you have another one with Big Ben. Big Ben was on the sideline a lot for Landry Jones. But
And Peyton Manning would be worse.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's a fantastic thing as far as the games that Brock Osweiler is the only visible starting quarterback on the sideline. Simply because during that game, how many commercials of Peyton Manning did you see on it? I mean, yeah. So that aside, yeah. Now, as far as him helping in practice, look, I'm not in that locker room. I don't know. But if you look at it from Peyton Manning's point of view, when you consider Osweiler there doing what he did and Father Time, one could say that he's between a Brock and a hard place. Boom! You like that one? You like that one? It was clever. Shut up. So, long story short, put stock in Brock, apparently, at least in this game. Yeah. Brock in a hard place was good, Weasel. Just own up. Something that wasn't good. Well, go ahead, Weasel. Go ahead.
No, you're good. Moving on.
Okay.
Please.
For the love of God, move on before he comes up with another one.
I think Weasel's about to say, just go fuck yourself.
But that doesn't. It doesn't matter that it doesn't rhyme. What else didn't matter? Apparently the offense. Jets, Texans.
Texans might have a quarterback controversy as they won 3 straight, and the Jets are turning out to be what we expected them to be at the beginning of the season, as they have dropped the last 3. This time the Texans 24-17. The Texans need a little creativity in this game to win. They tried to throw a fade to J.J. Watt, which was an incomplete pass.
He dropped that. I don't give a damn. As much of a J.J. Watt guy as I am, he had it in his hands. He dropped it. I don't have the guts to tell him to go to the gym, but I know that Weasel would if he saw the play.
It's that, I think it's that stat they're saying, before, J.J. Watt, he's 4 for 4 when they threw it to him in the red zone.
They jinxed him.
They did that in the college game on Saturday. They go to this kicker. He's not missed this year. Shake it.
Inevitably. You got to wait till after the attempt to lay that stat down. It's just considered.
And I think the other announcers called it. They jinxed them on that one. But anyway, so once that pass is incomplete, and then in the second half, Cecil shorts the third.
CS3.
Threw a 21-yard touchdown pass to none other than my boy Blue.
You're my boy, Blue!
Alfred Blue.
Alfred Blue. He finished with 92 yards from scrimmage.
I'm going to do one more.
Touchdown.
You're my boy, Blue!
I love that drop. I don't care.
This game was the battle of below 50% completion QBs, as T.J. Yates for the Texans was 16 for 34 for 229 yards and 2 touchdowns, and lost a fumble. Ryan Fitzpatrick was 19 for 39 for 216 yards, a touchdown, and 2 INTs. The touchdown was to Brandon Marshall, and his second INT was the one that sealed the victory for the Texans. Really, the difference in the game was DeAndre Hopkins. He had 5 catches for 118 yards with 2 touchdowns. He beat Revis on a 61-yard touchdown catch and made a couple of nice grabs. One of them was like a nice one-handed grab going on an out route to the sideline. Hopkins had almost half of the Texans' receiving yards and is the number 3 receiver in the league.
By the way, did any of you guys realize that that DeAndre Hopkins actually is a ship maker as well? I mean, I'm just assuming because he found a way off of Revis Island, apparently. Boom.
Okay.
Rocking a hard place. Suck it, Weasel.
Also, the Jets were 3 for 14 on third down to the Texans 7 for 18. The Jets also went for it on fourth down instead of kicking a field goal early in the fourth quarter and did not make it. Again, 2 weeks in a row they tried going for it instead of they were down 24 to 10 at the time to kick the field goal, but it was early in the fourth quarter. Take the points, come back, especially the way the Jets offense has been showing up in the fourth quarter lately.
That's right, man.
They've been coming up short each week. And then, all 3 of their losses, well, actually 2 of their losses, they got blown out by the Raiders. But these last 2 weeks, he's gone for it on fourth down. They haven't made it. So, really, should the Texans continue to start T.J. Yates, even if Hoyer's healthy?
People like to talk about quarterback controversies. And here in Houston, I think everybody will agree that there really isn't a quarterback controversy here. Of course you start T.J. Yates. What's the controversy? Hello? Anyways.
Well, I was just looking out here now, and the Texans just announced that they're starting Hoyer.
Wah, wah. You're doing it wrong.
And then also how bad, Darrell Revis has been, especially getting beat by DeAndre Hopkins, but who hasn't gotten beat by DeAndre Hopkins?
Yeah, seriously.
It's like same thing with who hasn't gotten beaten by T.Y. Hilton, But it's probably time starting to catch up with Darrell Revis.
Oh, of course.
Because, he is
of
in the
course.
30 range.
Well, so it's his age. Also, week after week after week after week after week after week after week. I could keep going, but I won't. After week, I just did. He's been facing the top receiver on the other side. That's going to catch up with you. And the receivers are getting taller. DeAndre Hopkins is a physical specimen. I don't care. He's got speed. I think he's got more speed at this point in his career than Calvin Johnson, perhaps. And he's a big receiver. It's that simple. Moreover, when the ball's going to him, because, okay, pop quiz. Name me another receiver for the Houston Texans.
CS3.
Very good. One that can't throw a touchdown pass. No. Seriously, other than he's the shortest of third, I can honestly admit I couldn't name anybody else either. So, yeah, there you go. Right on. Next game up, the Colts and the Falcons.
Speaking of possible quarterback controversies, even without quarterback Andrew Luck, the Colts on the road defeated the Falcons 24-21. Colts quarterback Matt Hasselbeck, 23 of 32, 213 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 INTs, sacked twice. In only the second play of the game, he was intercepted, which gave the Falcons the ball at the 34-yard line of the Colts. No points off that turnover, as Falcons kicker Matt Bryant missed a 46-yard field goal.
So,
Colts veteran running backs Frank Gore and Ahmad Bradshaw rushed for a combined 23 carries for only 66 yards. Bradshaw did have 4 catches for 20 yards and 2 touchdowns, while Gore had 5 catches for 46 yards. Gore lost a fumble on the Colts' second drive at the Falcons' 45-yard line. That did result in a Falcons interception in the red zone.
Did anybody feel good to see Ahmad Bradshaw get some play?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not even the Giants fan in the room. I'm like, you know what? Good for you, Ahmad Bradshaw. Just saying.
I still think he's overrated. I don't think he's all that great.
Hater.
Yeah, well.
Hater. Like, so he was one of the 3-headed monster that's earth, wind, and fire, and you still
I still didn't like him.
Wow.
Yeah, he could not like him if he
because
doesn't have to like
Earth
him.
and Wind was better without it. He didn't even need him.
Memo to Ahmad Bradshaw. Hand Chris Rankin back your Super Bowl rings. You don't deserve it.
Yeah, don't really care for him. I mean, he did go to Marshall as well, so I mean that's another.
Okay, it comes out. I mean, fine.
So Falcons quarterback Matt Ryan was 25 of 46, 290 yards, 3 touchdowns, 3 INTs, sacked once.
What was his attempts at completions? I didn't hear it.
25 of 46.
One would say he might be cold as ice. Anyways.
Yeah. Falcons rookie running back Tevin Coleman lost a fumble but had 17 carries for 48 yards. Guy you heard a lot about in the first half of the season, running back Devonta Freeman. He had a quiet day with 3 rushes for 43 yards. Falcons wide receiver.
He left with an injury with a concussion.
That kind of explains it then.
That's why he only had 3 carries.
Oh, crap.
Thank you for the assist. Falcons wide receiver Julio Jones, 9 receptions for 160 yards. Wide receiver Leonard Hankerson had 4 for 36 and a touchdown.
Leonard Hankerson?
Yeah.
Okay, just checking. You were kind of like, and is the quarterback for the Packers Aaron Rodgers?
Yeah.
It works for Key and Peele. I'm just saying.
The first 2 scores of the game were touchdowns by fullback Patrick DeMarco. Just before the fourth quarter, Falcons Coleman lost a fumble that gave the Colts the ball at the 21-yard line. 3 plays later, Hasselbeck was intercepted in the red zone. Both sides went 3 and out, and the Colts punted with 10:23 remaining, pinning the Falcons at their own 1-yard line. Next play, Falcons Ryan was intercepted by linebacker DeQuell Jackson, who then returned it 6 yards for a touchdown.
Cold as ice indeed.
That tied the game 21-all. So with 5 minutes remaining, the Colts started a 9-play drive that ended with kicker Adam Vinatieri nailing a 46-yard field goal with only 57 seconds remaining. So, the Colts and the Texans tied atop the AFC South with a 5-5 record.
Epic!
Jags are 1 game behind at 4-6. Now, keeping in mind that Andrew Luck will possibly be returning in mid-December due to a lacerated kidney and an abdominal muscle partial tear.
Yes.
Now, do y'all see any chance that the Colts would stick with Hasselbeck if the Colts keep on winning? Hasselbeck's kind of... The teams he faced, you could say they weren't that good, but he is 3-0 right now, and if they keep on winning, what do y'all think?
See, I hate that you threw that in there because I mentioned it before the show back when you were all like, oh, well, Hasselbeck's 3-0 and Luck is...
I said 2-0 the last time. He won this game, so that makes him now 3-0.
Correct, thank you, Weasel. And then Luck is, 2-7, right? Or 2-5,
2-5.
sorry. It adds up to 7 because math. Look, man, I got to be honest with you. I don't think it's going to come down to this even being a factor due to a lacerated kidney, for crap's sake. I mean, that's insane. I got to be honest. I don't... It seems impossible to me that if you ever actually get a truly 100% healthy Luck, that you would ever put him behind Matt Hasselbeck. I need him stat. Bring in Matt. No, I don't see that happening. But I think because of the nature of the injury, being the whole lacerated kidney thing and all that, I think they're going to be watching him close. I mean, let's be realistic. If the Colts even do make the playoffs, they're not going to do anything with it. If they sat Luck, I think that's a better move to preserve his health. And then if they make the playoffs, it'll leave the fan base in a state of, oh, we made the playoffs and we didn't even have Luck at 100%. We're such a good team! And keep the expectations high and keep the fans interested. For my money, you don't really gain a lot throwing Luck out there at this point. I don't know, Chris?
I would even I'd keep it hush with his injury status. Injured, not, so you don't have that, and just, start Hasselbeck, let him go through it.
Mm-hmm.
Give him the benefit of the doubt, and then, you get in towards the second half, and you're losing. You just, Luck's healthy, but no one knows about it. You have him just on the sideline as a precaution, but, he could be 100%. Just have it as if you're winning with Hasselbeck, you just have him there, and then just, if he's struggling one game, you just pick the change of Luck, then.
I would have a little comparison with that with the Pittsburgh Steelers.
I was thinking the same thing. Yeah,
because you got one Landry Jones at quarterback, and he had I think he'd had a foot injury during the game, and you have Big Ben who had he had some sort of ankle injury himself, and so during the game you have Landry Jones there. He got injured. And
No, the ankle was the first one. It was a sprained foot for the next. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
It's hard to keep track. He's been hurt a lot this year. I don't.
He has
blame
been,
you.
and he was. But what ended up happening, which can possibly happen with the Colts, is that Landry Jones, he got hurt, and then you have your backup. For the Steelers, they had Big Ben as the backup, pretty good backup to me. And it would be, if you have Hasselbeck, something happens with him. If he's struggling, then you can go with Luck.
Now the difference here is, though, obviously that Ben had a bit more time to heal relative to his injury than Luck has. I don't.
He's going to have at least a month. Yeah, I think it happened around the 11th, and what I'm hearing is it's going to be about 4 to 6 weeks. So I think we're kind of looking at mid-December. I'd say about week 16, around there, I would say. So having him available, I think, would be the way to go. So, because it's just last season, 4,700 yards, 40 touchdowns, 16 INTs, and now he's got 15 touchdowns, 12 INTs, and instead of 61% last year, he's now at 55%. It's just something's not clicking with him. So
I don't know. Maybe it's the lacerated kidney.
That happened last week. I mean, yeah, the Colts have had it with him a 2-5 record. So I mean,
well, I mean, there have been reports of him being injured for a while now.
So it's
I
think having him available, I think that would be the best way to go for them.
You know, basically to start Hasselbeck and have Luck in case of emergency. I think you're kind of in the same boat as Chris
But
here.
it won't be not having Luck as a backup quarterback like in early December. Nothing like that. I'm talking about when Luck is ready,
Of course.
to go
Yeah,
health-wise.
sure.
So
The difference about that is Big Ben wasn't ready to go because they wanted him to rest,
yeah,
and they had no other choice because Landry Jones got hurt.
yeah.
Pop
Put him out
quiz.
there.
In the event that Roethlisberger got hurt that day, Steelers' emergency starting quarterback was Heath Miller.
Nice.
I would never wish for anyone to get injured,
That's crazy.
but I would have liked to see Heath Miller taking snaps.
Remember
I'm sorry.
Heinz Ward, wide receiver for the Steelers. He was at times the emergency quarterback. So
There you go.
But yeah, Heath Miller, I would never thought of that because I'm pretty sure in college he played tight end.
Something tells me that he would not be a run-first quarterback. Moving on.
I would have just put like Martavius Bryant back there or something, and with Antonio Brown or something, and just ran an option all the rest of the game.
That would be known as a wildcat system.
Yes, either that or just go. We're just going to go to the triple option, and we're just going to run the ball. That's it. You're going to stop us. We're going back to the old school, and we're just going to run the ball because we don't have a quarterback that can throw the ball. We're just going to run it.
So instead of Pittsburgh, it would be Pitt. Got it.
Yeah.
So next up, Packers. Vikings, huge NFC North game. Whiz.
In a fight for the lead atop the NFC North, the Packers snapped their 3-game losing streak, defeating the Vikings 30-13. Packers quarterback Aaron Rodgers was 16 of 34.
Wait. Aaron Rodgers.
Okay.
Just making sure. I want you to say it right.
16 of 34, 212 yards, 2 touchdowns, no INTs, sacked twice. Packers running back Eddie Lacy made an appearance. 22 carries for 100 yards. Now, after a highly disappointed season, the question is, was this a fluke or is he back? I know there were injury concerns early on in the season. Now, looks like possibly healthy. So, I don't know. What do you think? Because he's like a huge running back, and he was making people miss tackles. So that's what people wanted early in their season. But for their success, I think they need that. Wide receiver.
They certainly don't need Rodgers throwing the ball 61 times. That's what I'll say.
That's not good. Wide receiver Randall Cobb had 2 catches for 24 yards and a touchdown, but he did have a good number of drops that game. Packers kicker, it's kind of talk about a kicker. It's like, okay. But Mason Crosby had an impressive game. 5 field goals, distances of 42 yards, 47 yards, 40 yards, 42 yards, and cap it off with a 52-yarder. So the Vikings quarterback Teddy Bridgewater, 25 of 37, 296 yards, 1 touchdown, 4 scrambles, 43 yards, and this was the big thing, sacked 6 times. So this is considering that during the Packers' 3-game losing streak, they had a total of 0 sacks. So a little bit weird right there.
Well, weird. I would call that an improvement, as in that's why you're there, as in get a damn sack.
Yep. So now after a Packers field goal with about 5 seconds remaining in the first quarter, the Vikings answered with a 47-yard touchdown. by one tight end, Kyle Rudolph. He finished with 6 catches for 106 yards and a touchdown.
Dude, it's the holiday season at this point. You really need to say his name properly. Rudolph, the hard-nosed tight end.
It is that time of the year.
Yeah, I'm trying to tell you.
Can we get past Thanksgiving first?
Hey, we saw the Christmas commercials for Halloween this year, okay? I don't want to hear it. Compared to that, I'm a saint.
Yeah, that was the same guy that's in Orlando paying out at Best Buy since October 28th.
So, 1 point for Chris.
Ding!
Yeah.
So, let's see where we at here. Oh, I hate that guy. Blair Walsh, the kicker for the Vikings. After you have that the 47-yard touchdown, you have Blair Walsh missing his 3rd extra point of the season. He is now 17 of 20. Vikings running back Adrian Peterson, 13 carries for 45 yards and a 6-yard touchdown with 2:42 remaining in the third quarter. And that narrowed the score down to 19 to 13. Packers lead. Start of the 4th. Packers answered with a 7-play drive that ended with a 27-yard touchdown to one James Jones. Maybe like a little comeback player, but it was only a year off. But he also caught the 2-point conversion that put the Packers up 27 to 13. Jones ended with the day 6 catches, 109 yards. Vikings.
He would be the comeback player for the Green Bay Packers, right?
For the Packers, yeah.
Yeah,
Most definitely. Vikings kickoff returner Cordero Patterson, 52-yard return. Awesome. Would have put the Vikings at midfield.
Except.
So in a boneheaded move, he got in the face of a kicker, Mason Crosby. And he did, it wasn't like anything like malicious, but he kind of like tapped his head like with a headbutt type of thing. Keep in mind to a kicker. And that resulted in a 15-yard personal foul penalty. That drive, Adrian Peterson lost a fumble at the Packers' 21-yard line. Packers players were kind of like, getting really frustrated, like getting in his face. And there was one point, I think, with one of them, they had one of the Packers players like shoved his like fist up like Peterson's helmet. So I think that's the wrong person to get mad, but they definitely gave it to the Vikings. So now before the game, the Vikings took pride in being the least penalized team in the NFL. Not so much now, considering that they had 8 penalties for 110 yards. So, for the remainder of the season, do you guys see the Packers playing like the team that had a 3-game losing streak, or confident like they were against the Vikings?
Chris, go ahead.
Well, I think what the Packers did this game is they did to the Vikings offense what the Broncos defense did to the Packers offense. They blitzed them, made them come with blitz all over around the place. They're saying, okay, we're gonna like run blitz every play, and then that flustered Bridgewater. Like I said before, Bridgewater's good with short, medium range. I mean, he had a throw that was like a phenomenal throw, mid-range throw
to Kyle Rudolph for that 45-yard touchdown.
Not even just that one, even one to Stephon Diggs on an out pattern across the field.
Okay,
it was a good throw, but then he also does the scramble, he can extend plays and then he'll throw the ball off the back foot and it's like lobbed up, which was towards I think towards the end of the game.
He also ran for 3 first downs as well, something you won't see on the stat sheet. But
and there was one that it was toward, I think they settled for a field goal. They didn't have a kick field goal.
They didn't kick a field goal.
Maybe it was like the Peterson fumble or something like that, but he threw the ball off the backfield down to the sideline, which ended up being incomplete again because it was by the goal line. His receiver's wide open. If he was just throwing the ball a little more harder without the lob, it would have been a touchdown. But with the Packers, their offensive line improved. What I called out 2 weeks ago about their receivers, before the game, the announcer said they were talking to Aaron Rodgers, but they were, if they had anything, and during the week they were talking about receivers not running their routes properly, which I called out 2 weeks ago.
Yes, you did.
And they're running their routes better, which Randall Cobb did drop some balls, but there was more...
He had at least 3, yeah.
There was more assertiveness from the receivers. There was more assertiveness from Eddie Lacy instead of him just... Once he gets the handoff, he's not sure what he wants to do with the ball. This time he was going towards the hole, letting it open, then go. Before he's gotten the ball and he didn't know what he was doing, it looked like. So, I mean, it's really, they just got back to basics during the week, and they're like, okay, we're going to back to our way, run crisp routes, run the ball well. The offensive line gave Rodgers some time.
So the confidence was on the Packers side, and the Vikings weren't confident, and that's how they fell undisciplined. And I think where I start to see it fall apart is late in the first half. It seems like the Packers had at least 4 or 5 different shots at the end zone towards the end there, because they were basically in the red zone, and just when the third down would come up, somebody would foul somebody, and the Packers would get another set.
That was that long 50-something yard penalty.
It was
Terrence
Terrence Newman, and he had it was a 50-yard penalty from pass interference.
Well, and that was just the first one too.
Yeah, that was the first one. Then they went third down. There's another penalty.
Yeah,
third down, another penalty.
They'd have another
penalty. So
I mean, that's murder. That's murder. And when that started to happen, you start to see Vikings players flinging helmets onto benches and things like that. I mean, they just fell apart mentally from that point on. Adrian Peterson, look, it's not an accident you saw Clay Matthews line up more at the middle linebacker spot in this game. I even called out in the matchup mania that was going to happen. And the reason alone is obviously AP. I like my chances when the one filling that gap is Clay Matthews. My best versus your best. Bring it the bleep on.
It's I think what's good about this the little rivalry here is that
it's actually a rivalry again.
The schedule makers, I think they did a pretty good job, because the last game of the season is the Vikings at the Packers in Lambeau.
Which is why the Vikings need to keep their heads up, because if they hold serve and maintain towards Week 17. They got a really good shot to still win this division.
For me, I'm just glad that I think it was after riding a 5-game winning streak. I think this is a good time to get a wake-up call, and so that they can grab some wins the next weeks, and then you get a second shot at the Packers.
Silver lining defense, boom, there you go. And whoever lost this next game would have to use a silver lining defense, as in, well, the other team was really good. Bengals, Cards. Chris.
After coming off a Monday night loss to the Texans, the Bengals looked to rebound, and it looked promising in the first half as they took a 14-7 halftime lead off of 2 Carson Palmer's interceptions. Palmer did come out of the locker room improved in the second half, and the Cardinals would need a little help from the officiating with a game-winning 32-yard field goal with 2 seconds left to win 34-31. With no timeouts, the Cardinals were driving completion over the middle to Larry Fitzgerald, who is actually the number 4 leading receiver in the league right now.
Rumors of his demise vastly exaggerated.
The Cardinals went up to the line of scrimmage to spike the ball when Bengals Demota Pika was...
Demota Peko.
Yeah.
Pika. No, he is not a Pokemon.
Yeah, right. Was called for unsportsmanlike conduct for calling out offensive plays.
Now,
calling out cadences or whatever, trying to get the offensive line.
Simulating the cadence. Now, right. If he was calling out plays and they mistook that, which is what they're claiming, it's obviously a different story. I mean, unless I hear it mic'd up, we really won't know, right? I mean, right. Anyways.
So, which moved the ball from the 27 to the 14, and then instead of a 45-yard field goal, it was a 32-yard field goal to win the game. I mean, still 45 yards make it. They got a good kicker out there in Arizona, so I mean.
Yeah, I mean, it sucks, but by the same token, I'm not going to sit here and cry that much foul, honestly. I mean, if you really wanted to win the game, how about not throwing 2 interceptions?
That was the foul.
Oh, excuse me, I had that wrong. Check that. What I mean to say is, how about protecting Dalton a little better so that forced fumble doesn't happen?
Yeah, Carson Palmer's 20 for 31 for 317 yards with 4 touchdowns. Rookie wide receiver J.J. Nelson had 4 catches for 142 yards and a touchdown. Fitzgerald chipped in with 90 yards on 8 catches. John Brown's tight end Darren Fells and running back David Johnson each had a touchdown catch for the Cardinals. Bengals, after being dubbed the Red Ryder BB gun after Monday night's loss by J.J. Watt, returned to, I feel like he was a Red Rifle status. He was 22 for 39 for 315 yards with 2 touchdowns. Both of the touchdowns were to tight end Tyler Eifert. He had no interceptions but lost the fumble that led to the Cardinals field goal. But history repeats itself as Dalton's record in primetime and playoffs combined is now 4-13 on his career in primetime games and playoffs. That's below 25% winning percentage.
Playoffs?
Do you just want to win a game at night? Is that what you mean?
The running back duo of Jeremy Hill and Giovanni Bernard could not get anything on the ground, but Bernard led all Bengals receivers with 8 catches for 128 yards. A.J. Green had 4 for 79. Both teams played evenly throughout. Really close game except for penalties. 10 for 108 yards for the Bengals. 7 for 40 for the Cardinals. And Cardinals had one more turnover. Both teams sitting at 8-2. They kind of mirror each other. They both have a good defense. They both like to throw the ball a lot. They have a kind of running back tandem because now that Andre Ellington's back. Can you see this game as a rematch in the playoffs? Well, since one's an AFC team, one's an NFC team.
That's the only way.
Super Bowl.
Yeah, Weasel.
Yeah, well, of course I'm going to have to remind everyone of Andy Dalton's playoff record. It is 0-4, and he has 1 touchdown. I think it's still about 4 INTs. But
and how many drop touchdown passes are you counting for by his receivers in those times?
Well,
exactly. Keep talking.
So
he has a touchdown pass to J.J. Watt, doesn't he?
The play that made me fall in love. Tear.
So I would say that I think they could definitely get a win. It's I could see them having a rematch.
Sure you can.
Hey, it's they keep their stuff together and
look, I have no reason to believe this is going to happen. I'm oddly enough, I'm even less optimistic than you are here. I just don't see it. Even if the Bengals find a way past the first round, I don't see them getting past the second because the emotional letdown after finally winning that game, the monkey will be off your back. You know, you're like, and I'm spent. I just don't see it happening. Granted, Dalton has a pretty good record against the Patriots, if I remember correctly. But yeah, I just don't see that panning for the Bengals. And to be honest, in the playoffs, I would be curious to see the Panthers and the Cardinals game because the Cardinals will be hyped up to get another shot at the Panthers after the Panthers sent them packing last year based on Palmer's injury, despite being a 7-9 team. Anyways, that'll do it. It's time for the study hall. Hey guys, I just got one thing to say before Chris reads the numbers. I'm creeping up! What we got, Chris?
This week, Kyle was at the most wins. He was 8-5.
Creeping up!
I was 7-6, and Weasel was 5-8.
Ooh.
So overall, I'm 94-61. Kyle's 3 games back. Weasel's 5 games back from me.
You sure you didn't transpose that? Maybe Weasel got 8-5 and you just read it backwards.
No, because there's a lot of white on here on the highlight.
Why I gotta bring race into this?
Because he didn't get any yellow games.
Oh gosh, that went the wrong way. I didn't expect that. Next game.
All right, first game we got Thanksgiving this week, which is you got the Eagles at the Lions. The Eagles have been playing lately, and how the Lions have been playing lately as well. I'm gonna go Lions.
Sure, you have a bird in this game, but this game's gonna be a real turkey. Wait, who's starting for the Eagles?
Might be Bradford, but they're saying not sure yet if Bradford's gonna be ready.
Oh, screw it! I got the Lions. Two-game winning streak. They extended to 3. I don't believe in you. Show me some brotherly love, Philadelphia. Weasel, game on us.
I really wanted to pick the Eagles, but yeah, someone reminded me of the name Mark Sanchez. I got the Lions.
You're welcome. Next game.
Next, you got the Panthers at the Cowboys. I'm sorry, it's not going to be Tony Romo's 4th win of the year, which would be also the Cowboys' 4th win. I'm going to go with Cam Newton. I got the Panthers.
Hey, Weasel. You want to know why I'm going second? Because I'm creeping up. I got Cam here. Whatever. Next, come on.
It's going to be a much talked about game.
Yes.
Definitely. I think the Panthers have the edge. Definitely on defense. So I will pick the Panthers.
By the way, side note: Ron Rivera saying that it's just a little bit insulting that the Cowboys are favored in this game.
It's a trap.
Just saying.
Yeah.
Moving on.
And you think there's going to be a cheap shot at Greg Hardy during this?
Actually, I will give Greg Hardy credit. He probably will be hyped up to play his former team.
Oh, yeah, he actually has a comment on here. I don't remember what it was, though. I saw something kind of comment of, it's just a faceless team. that we're playing against.
That's what.
Okay,
This is the reason why Carson Palmer is a dude that I like. Among the fact he's probably the most underrated player in the NFL right now. Okay, Carson Palmer, when asked how he felt about playing his former team, was like, "No, it's not just another game. I want to whoop these guys." I didn't say whoop their ass, but I mean he was real about it. He's like, "I want to do well against my former team." Anybody who says any of this other crap, "Oh, it's just another game," is a liar. Moving on. That's right. Greg Hardy's a liar. I said it. Quote me. You're a phony. You're a big fat phony. There you go. Some Family Guy schmack.
So the night game is the Bears at the Packers. I'm going to go with Packers.
Even though this game doesn't have a bird in it, it's going to be a real turkey. And Thanksgiving night at Weasel's house, it's going to be rough. The Packers win. Weasel.
Yep, I got the Packers winning.
I'm sorry to make it that real.
Also, I mean, Martellus Bennett. Or Bennett, yeah. Martellus Bennett. Sorry, Martellus Bryant, Martellus Bennett.
Right.
Martellus Bennett might not play in the game, so that's you got down.
Oh.
Jeffrey and Martellus Bennett.
Oh, no, yeah, you're right. They're totally screwed. Yeah.
Note to self.
Yeah. Next, you got the Raiders at the Titans. Oh, this is a great, exciting game. I really did not want to pick the Raiders this week because of how bad they've burned me the last 2 weeks. But it is the Titans, so I'm gonna go with the Raiders.
Yeah, you have to go with the Raiders. This is exactly the tune-up game the Carter Cooper combo needed to turn around. Mariota makes some good games, and it'll be enough to actually force the Raiders to have to turn it to another gear. But the Carter Cooper combo will prevail. I have the Raiders. Weasel.
I got the Raiders also.
Shocker.
Can you get an extra side with Murray on that?
And some Murray fries. No, the Carter Cooper combo, and on that hamburger they have some Murray mayonnaise. Boom! And the guy's name's Khalil Mack, and we haven't even worked that into the pun yet. That's what I'm talking about.
All right, next you got the Bills at the Chiefs. Bills are playing right now against the Patriots, so you don't know how they're going to do that.
Yeah, we do.
Weasel begs to differ.
I'm creeping.
Oh crap!
So, with the Kendrick West injury, you don't know what's going on. I mean, he's been a big deal with the Chiefs.
I mean, we said the same thing with him and Jamal Charles, and he came in, and now Spencer Ware is doing his thing. Maybe we'll see if the whole Alex Smith thing is real. I don't know.
So, with that, I'm still going to try to pick the Chiefs. So, they've been looking pretty good lately.
Wait, Chiefs and who? I missed
Bills.
that. See, wow.
Probably the toughest game of the week.
No, this definitely ain't simple. I mean, I won't actually want to watch this game. Don't get it twisted. But oh no, Buffalo! I'm gonna pick the Chiefs. Oh yeah! See, I said oh yeah because Andy Reid is the Kool-Aid man. I defy you to look at him on the sideline in that red polo and not think of the Kool-Aid man.
What about the fan that dresses like Andy Reid in the stands? It looks exactly like him.
It's awesome.
I did see that Halloween costume, and that is cloning of the Kool-Aid man. I mean,
what do you think if someone comes dressed as the Kool-Aid man next to him? Also, we kind of first one.
Oh yeah!
Oh yeah! Weasel Weeze.
With their defense, that's why I'm going to pick the Chiefs.
That pick is sweeter than Kool-Aid. Oh yeah!
Next, you get the Bucs at the Colts. Bucs coming off of a 2-game winning streak. You get the Colts without Andrew Luck. Bucs look pretty good the last couple games.
They have.
Their defenses look pretty good. I think they might give the Colts a challenge here. So I'm gonna go Bucs.
How many touchdowns did Jameis Winston throw against the Saints? Oh no, it wasn't the Saints. Who did they beat 2 weeks ago? Jameis Winston had 5 touchdowns. I forget who that was.
Yesterday.
Was it yesterday?
Yeah, he did.
Okay. He had 5 against the Eagles.
Against the Eagles.
And he had 3 or 4
who
last
have a
week.
bad defense and a backup quarterback. I'm not saying famous Jameis is going to throw 5 touchdowns, but I'm saying he's winning the football game. Damn it! I have the Bucs.
Yeah, this week was he had 5 touchdowns, 0 INTs. Last week was against Dallas, and a 10-6 victory, 0 touchdowns, 2 INTs. So
It was the game before that, though.
yeah,
Against the Giants.
the Giants, yeah, nothing. So I will pick the. You said the
It's the Bucks and the Colts.
Bucks and Colts. Even though Hasselbeck's 3-0, I'm gonna pick the Bucks.
Wow.
So all this stuff about the 40-year-old starter, but he's still losing to Tampa. Got it.
Next AFC East matchup, Giants at Skins. So it was a close game last time, but I don't think it's going to be that close. I got the Giants.
Yeah, you hand me this crap about the Chiefs and the Bills being the toughest game of the week. Screw that. That is this game, okay? It's the inconsistent versus the unpredictable. And I don't know which one to title which, all right? Screw picking this game. I'm just genuinely angry that I have to do it. But at the end of the day, I ain't picking Kirk Cousins. You're off your rocker. I got Eli and the Giants. Weasel.
This is a game where the Redskins can tie the Giants up on top the NFC East. So I will pick...
All the more reason they'll choke.
I'm going to pick the Giants.
Next, you get the Saints at the Texans. Texans, 2-game winning streak here. Against the Saints are coming off the bye. So you don't know what they're going to do with Rob Ryan's gone now. So their defense might be a little better, but I'm going to go with the Texans.
Damn it. I was going to use this one to creep up. I had it already. I was going off creeping up in my mind. You must have, I mean, we've known each other a long time. You might have read my mind on that. But hell yeah, I'm picking the Texans. They lost to the Titans, which I'm still bitter about, to eliminate me from my Survivor League, which I still would have been in if it wasn't for that. But yeah, Texans. Fool.
Okay, so Texans.
Saints, Texans.
What's that?
Saints, Texans.
Defense has been really good for the Texans, and I think
not so much for the Saints.
Yeah, so I'm actually going for the Saints. I don't think the Texans would put up enough points. I think they're going to get some turnovers, but I think Breeze is going to be able to put up more points. So,
hey Weasel, I'm creeping up further.
Yeah, further. Creeping past.
I'm creeping past.
Next, you got the Vikings at the Falcons. I think just yesterday was a fluke for the Vikings. So I'm going to pick the Vikings on the strength of, their defense will be a little better this week. It was just a big emotional game last week against the Packers. And then against the Falcons, I got the Vikings on this.
There's already one clip I have queued up to play for this.
It's a trap! It's a trap!
And it's not for the Falcons, it's for the Vikings. The Vikings haven't played in a trap game since, 2009, when Brett Favre was the quarterback and they were one game away from the Super Bowl? This is the kind of team that faces trap games. Number of teams remaining on the Falcons' schedule with a winning record. Anybody?
1.
Close.
2.
2.
Oh,
How
yeah,
many?
I got the Panthers, okay.
How many games remaining against teams with a winning schedule?
2.
No. 3, because they have both games against the Panthers left.
Wow.
Trick question! But that being said, I have no reason. They can do whatever it takes, and there's a trap game, and I have more confidence in Julio Jones getting the ball from Matt Ryan and support from Devontae Freeman than I do Mike Wallace and Teddy Bridgewater and AP as a total combination. But at the end of the day, someone's got to play defense. And I believe in that Vikings defense way more than ever with the Falcons. I have the Vikings winning the trap game. Weasel.
Vikings head coach is Zimmer is a defensive-minded coach. So I think he's going to get him in shape, and because it was a wake-up call for them. But Falcons, they just have been having trouble just winning games. The Vikings, I think they'll be able to turn it around against them.
I'm going to call you a homer because it's fun, but what you say about the Falcons is true. 4 out of their past 5, including losses to the Niners, Saints. I'm going to blow this. Niners, Saints, requiring an overtime to the Skins, needing a 3-point squeak-by victory to beat the Titans. And the other teams are losing to or escaping me right now. Crap.
They beat the Giants after the Giants fell in the fourth quarter.
Oh, yeah, that was week 2.
Right.
The point is, 4 of their past 5 are losses at this point. And they lost to the Niners, the Saints, not the Redskins, oh my gosh, I'm losing it. Well, the point is, they suck. That's basically what I'm getting at. The Atlanta Fraudkins are a waste of my time. Frauds, I tell you.
Colts yesterday, and then the bye, and then the Niners before that. And then they lost to.
It's right at the bottom of their schedule.
They lost to the Bucks.
Yeah, the Bucks. That's the other one.
They beat the Titans. They lost to the Saints.
Saints, Niners, Bucks, Colts. There's your past 4 losses. Bingo.
They seriously they started at 5-0.
Yes, they did.
Jeez.
Frauds. You've heard me saying it back when they were 5-0.
Come back against the Eagles. Come back against the Giants. Come back against the Cowboys.
Come back against the Redskins, whom they needed overtime to beat. Yeah. Bleep the Falcons. Weasel. No, wait, you already picked the Vikings, Homer.
Vikings.
Next.
Rams, Bengals. This Rams team, you know what's going on with it. I'll go Bengals.
Yeah, I got to go Bengals, too. Case Keenum at quarterback, maybe? Nah.
Bengals.
You know the problem is when he got hit in the head, he's looking, he's like, man, my wife's hot. This can't be right.
Oh, God. So harsh. Next game.
You got the Chargers at the Jags. As I was saying earlier, the Jags, the easiest record remaining out of all the NFL teams. Yes, they do play the Chargers still. They still play, I think, the Titans, the Colts, the Texans again. So that's why they have the easiest record. Chargers don't travel well to the East Coast. They're not playing well. And the Jags have been playing decent. They've been getting what needs to be done. So I'm going to go Jags.
Anybody? What's my pick? I already know what it is.
Jags.
Why?
Because it's the Chargers.
Because the Chargers are soft. Damn right. Weasel.
It's because they're frauds.
No, it's because they're soft. The Falcons are frauds.
There's only one fraud on the Chargers.
Yes, the one fraud. But I do have the Jags.
Next game.
Next, you have the Dolphins at the Jets. You don't know what you're getting out of either of these teams. This one's tough. Darrell Revis may not play. They're already out there clearing for Marty. They just cut Quentin Copples, who was a couple years ago their number 1 draft pick. Then you get a Dolphins side who can't stop the run. And you don't know what their defense is going to be. I mean, Brandon Marshall kind of lit him, and Eric Decker lit him up the first time they played.
That's right.
So I think it could happen this time again. But then the Dolphins, if they could give Tannehill some time to get it to Jarvis Landry and Devontae Parker, who's been playing lately, and Kenny Stills, and all those players, they could compete. But
it's like you're stalling, Chris.
Yeah, I know. I don't like it. I don't like this one. I'm gonna go Jets. I don't want to pick them either. But it's the Dolphins, because I'm not picking the Jets. Forget this. They're on a 3-game losing streak, but it's the Dolphins, so you gotta go Jets. I'm going Jets.
There is one secure pick you can name here, okay? Take the goddamn over, all right? Take the over. These defenses don't play defense. Take the over. Well, they do, but they're missing a lot of their top guys on both sides. I say all that to say this. In a game like this, I like the team that'll have the more balanced offense. That would be the Jets. No middle ground. Weasel.
All right, I need this game. I'm picking the Dolphins.
I need this game. I need to creep up. I got the Dolphins. Oh, my God.
This was close to a coin flip. So
This one's probably the easiest game to pick next. Is you got the Cardinals at the Niners. I'm going Cardinals.
Next.
Yeah, next, move on.
Then you got the Steelers at the Seahawks. I'm going to go with Antonio Brown's going to have over 100 yards receiving, no matter who's covering him in this game.
Dang.
Martavis Bryant probably have another 50, 60, maybe 70 yards this one.
Dang.
D'Angelo Williams is still going to run on the Seahawks. I'm going to Steelers.
No
I don't think it's going to be close.
No confidence in the Seahawks defense.
No.
I don't think it's going to be close either, but that's because I see the game essentially being like, 23-3, something like that. I see the Steelers. Thomas Rawls is cute. Stack the box. I dare you, Russell Wilson, to beat me over the top. It can't. Weasel.
I'm gonna go with the Steelers run defense.
Homer.
So I got the Steelers.
I still need to get that dang Simpsons theme wave on my desktop. I'm just saying. Anyway, next.
You got the Pats at the Brock-led Broncos.
Bronc led?
Yes.
Yes.
Bronc led. I'm gonna go Patriots.
What? You don't think the Broncos can Brock your world?
Hey, they can Brock it if they want, but I'm just, I won't be upset if the Broncos win. How about that?
I won't be either, but it ain't gonna happen. Are you crazy? No stock in Brock. I have the Pats, Weasel. You don't need to game that
Kudos
badly.
to Broncos for their defense, but too much for the Patriots.
Yeah.
So I do have the Patriots.
Yeah, you don't need a game that bad to pick Brock here. I mean, don't put stock in Brock. Bad plan. Next up.
And then probably the worst game of the week is the Ravens at the Browns. Can we just call this a draw and just end it? That's it? Just who cares?
Well, worse over. It's Shaw versus Manziel. Epic.
So with all those injuries with the Ravens, I'm going to go Browns, and it's going to be that tight end's going to get like 3 more touchdowns this week.
Oh, Barnridge.
Yes.
Yeah. Hey, look, Browns fans, don't say I didn't ever do nothing for you. I got the Browns this game, Weasel.
Huh.
I know, it's okay. Take your time. It's complete. I'd say it's complete crap, but that's why I picked the Browns. Boom! See, it's funny because... Shut up.
Injuries have been bad for the Ravens, so... who's the starting quarterback for the Browns?
Matt Schaub.
No. You said for the Browns?
Browns.
Oh,
The Browns is
Manziel.
Manziel still? Yeah. I'll go for the Browns.
I knew you would.
Yeah.
Because he reminds you of Tebow.
It's too much injuries on the other side.
Tebow.
And that's,
Somewhat.
Is that still the Monday night game, really?
Yeah.
Hey, the Monday night games. People talk to me about how bad the Thursday night games are. I say I'll raise your bad games on Thursday and show you what happens on Monday. Just saying. Anyways, that'll do it for our show this week. Of course, you can follow us on Twitter. Weasel.
Yeah, boy.
See him on Twitter at Weasel the SoTG. Of course, the local hero himself, the mustached marauder and firefighter extraordinary. You like that, mustache marauder? For Movember, anyway. Movember's mustache marauder. Oh, there's another M. Sweet. The Mega Movember mustache marauder. Okay, I'm going to stop now. Find him on Twitter at Hydraulic Upright, UPRITE. Of course, you can find me, the student of the game, Kyle Nash, on Twitter at the SoTG. Of course, check out the website, njscsports.com. And check out the YouTube channel. Check out all the good stuff we got there, including the sports symposium that I do in collaboration with Demosthenes Euclid of Hilarity by Default. Good times all the way around. That was, week 11. It's going fast this year. Anybody? I don't know. Anyways. So, with that, everybody, until next time, class dismissed.